Good, good. I got one little tidbit to start off with. Being a chef is great because you get to cook and eat all day. And I thought, well, if I come here, you guys could cook for me tonight? No? Okay. Well, since I'm last, dessert always comes last, right? So I brought cookies for 600 tonight. So have a cookie on me. So if I suck, I brought cookies, okay? All right. Well, we'll try and get through this because I know everybody's ready to go, right? No? All right. Well, the first slide that was up a second ago was my parents. You can't do what you do in life without great parents, without the support they give you. So I owe a lot to them. Without my mom saying, whatever you want, dear, that goes miles when you're a kid, whatever you want. After that, comes a great foundation. And, chef from Citronelle in D.C. basically said, if you have to educate your palate if you want to be a great cook. If you don't know what food is supposed to taste like, you're cooking in the dark, and that's a very true statement. Well, in 10th grade, after that picture you just saw up there, I wanted to be in the Air Force and be a pilot and be a jet fighter pilot, but glasses kind of held me back, so I wanted to go to school as a blow-off, so I decided, I'll just go to school and, eat food all day, which is a culinary school I went to when I was in high school. Well, the chef there was really good and a great teacher, and he said, if you get away from these idiots, you'll go far. So I did that. So I said, okay. So I went to culinary school after that. I went to college, and in college, the biggest thing I learned there was 2 for Tuesday, which is 2 hot dogs for $2 every Tuesday at Kogo's in Pittsburgh. Well, what else do you expect me to remember from college, right? But college was a great time. I had an amazing time there in college. I did learn a few things, some pictures of me having way too much fun up there. But one of the great things I learned from a guy I worked for was, I got to be a lead cook at this place, at the Ramada Hotel there. But I never got the title because I had to go to school, and he thought that was really important to me. So he said, you go to school, learn what you can, and I tell you what, you can put in your resume that you had that job. And I said, that's great. So I learned something from a management point of view. You need to take care of your people, they'll take care of you. I moved to Texas. You had to go away, try something new. The chef there was a pastry chef there I got to work for, and one of the best things he ever taught me was whatever it takes to get the job done, that's what you do. Unfortunately, he was referring to something that looked more like powdered sugar. So that's how he got his job done. It's not what I did, but that's how he got his job done. So after that, I started looking for a sous chef position. I'd have chefs tell me, you expect to teach guys 20 years your age how to do their job. And I said, well, yeah. And I said, mostly because I just wanted to be a chef really quickly. I don't know if it was just being dumb or stupid, but it works for me. So I got to work for some amazing people like Jimmy De La Cruz, Santiago De La Cruz, one of my great mentors, a very good friend. Gave my first sous chef position, but his big thing for me was when he first came on board this restaurant, he said, I can do all of your jobs. You guys go home if you don't want to work here. And I said, well, what can this guy teach me? And he was thinking, you're the first white boy to walk out the door. And I didn't, and we became really good friends and had a great relationship together, and we're still good friends today. In fact, next week I'm flying down there to do some work with him. So I got my first job at the Fairmont Hotel. That's me really young, some earrings in my ear, I think. And I got the job there, and I met this guy, Kyle Ketchum, and he and I are now best friends. He became my first sous chef, and when I wanted to be a chef, I didn't think I was ready for this job. It was a 4-diamond hotel. I was 23 years old, and he said, you can do it, you'll be great. And the funny thing is, before that, he used to work at a Texas Denny's with my wife, and he used to think, this guy is a chump working for chump change because he was making bank at a fast food joint. Well, it worked out, and I came to Charleston. I met this guy. This is Rick Widman. He owns the Circa 1886. And he said, hey, come down here. We'll talk about coming and working at Charleston and taking over my restaurant. So I flew down here. I had a really nasty headache on the airplane down here. And a lot of people don't know this next part. But we went to a place called Cypress. Everybody knows Cypress now, I'm sure. Had dinner arrangements there, but I had a massive headache. And I got through my lobster bisque and started becoming really nauseous. Well, sooner or later, he found out I was the guy that puked in the bathroom on my job interview. Well, it must have gone pretty well because he hired me. So the next thing I was like, well, how do I find out how to cook in Charleston? So the first thing I did, I went looking for cookbooks. So I found the 200 Years of Charleston Cooking as my basis to cook in Charleston and learn everything I could. And I found the book online at a store in San Francisco, and they shipped it to me. And inside, the first cover was purchased at 94 Church Street in 1946 in Charleston, South Carolina. I was like, wow, how cool is that? I made it out to Frisco and then came back here. Well, working as a chef isn't all that bad. You get to go traveling. I got to go to Cap Juluca, not once but twice, all expenses paid. All I had to do was cook, so it can't be that bad of a job. Except when I got there, half the food I shipped over got stuck in customs and all rotted. So I had about a day to figure out what my menu was going to be and produce it. So after that, I got, I work long enough. You get to cook for people like Mick Jagger, Diana Ross. As a really, Back to the Future director there. Everybody knows who he is. I'm sure Robert Zemeckis. But you get to cook for these people, and I never would have thought that, in the small town I grew up in, that one day I'd cook for these guys. By the way, Mick Jagger loves French food, and I cooked for him at a French restaurant. I got to talk to him. He said, everything was great, man. I loved it. But you got to give back, right? So I support, Louis Kids and Low Country Food Bank, Dorchester Children's Center, Darkness to Light, because you have to. You have to give back to the community that supports you and gives you what you want. And then you reach a point in time when you start realizing the needs of others are more important than your own needs. And so I started with this idea of the Charleston Wine and Food Festival. And I offered that up as a way to help promote awareness of Charleston and the great chefs are in this town. And it's done great things, and I've been humbled by it ever since. So, it kind of leads us up here to the end. This is my lovely wife. I can't do anything without her. She's the reason I'm here. So, yeah, she probably would, but she gave it to me, so it's her loss. And she's not here tonight, so I only hear about it when I get home, and she sees this somewhere down the line, so I'm fine right now. I'll be in the doghouse later. But people don't realize that behind every great chef, are good kids, too. They're the reason we come to work. So when you get on at TripAdvisor or, Open Table or Yelp and you write that review, remember that all the people that cook for a living or work in the food service and hospitality industry, they're only doing it for people like them. Great kids, great families, and they care about you and they care about their experience. So go out and have a great dinner and enjoy your life. Thanks.